Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 159, Groundhog's Day. Oh, over here. Fellas, what is up? E-Rich, can't see you right now, bro. My skin is... What is up, man? Look, long time no see. It's been like almost a month we decided to do this thing. Took a little break off. Everybody feeling good? Uh-oh, CB on you, buddy.
Oh, starting season off right on cue.
Groundhog's Day, right?
Right.
E, you good?
Good, man. You know what it is. Just ready to get started. Like I said, I posted. I was gearing up for the new podcast season, and so we here. So let's get it.
You know what? I was going to do the Groundhog thing, just run it, act like we didn't start, just run it back like the movie. But that's a long ass intro. Yeah. So look, it's been about a month. Last time we saw you guys, we rounded up with our top sneakers of 2022, and then we closed out with our top show for this pod, top albums of 2022, and then we parted ways for a little bit and kind of did some things behind the scenes. But look, it's good to be back. If your first time joining us, make sure you go to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe wherever you're watching that right now. But yeah, let me introduce myself. I'm your boy Kaleo. There's CB and there's E-Rich, and we are something else. So with that, all that said, I guess we are ready to dive in. Let's wrap. So I was unsure where we were going to lead off with this, but I think we need to really address the elephant in the room, and let's just go ahead and get it out the way. So, Tyree Nichols. I don't know what rock anybody's been living under. If you've been living under a rock or you haven't watched the news, social media, pretty much is everywhere. Tyree Nichols is the latest victim of the police department. Police officers. Bad apples. He is the latest one who the video, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the video at this point. If you choose not to, it's everywhere. But he was murdered by 5 police officers. You know, there's probably gonna be some more that have been charged who were negligent in his death. But 5 police officers, and this one hit a little differently because all the police officers were black. I don't know if we've ever seen this on camera or this side of the story, but yeah, I mean, we always hear stories of us killing our own, but this one, I mean, to protect and serve us killing our own. So, yeah, let's just dive in. E, you look like you got something to say. Let's comment on it. Did you see the video? I know we talked about it earlier on the Hot Seat podcast this week. Shout out to Sean Xavier and the fellas for celebrating the 100th episode. But feeling any differently? Have you seen the video? Thoughts?
So I chose not to watch the video. Just for the simple fact is that we've seen it before. And I also think that it's one of those things that's embedded in my mind that, I mean, unfortunately, you see one beating, you've kind of seen them all. You've seen police brutality. It still angers me as if I did see it, but you know what I mean. I think that's the whole piece of that.
Left yesterday. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I think that I truly think. I mean, we did talk about this on the Hot Seat podcast. They chose to put it out during the weekend. I thought that was, why. And let's just be honest, like it's one of those things that we joke about watching certain movies that make us mad before we go to work. And I think I chose not to watch this because I knew that it was going to lead me to be in probably in a mindset that I didn't really I didn't want to be in, because like that's where it just takes you. Like we're beyond the, you know, the sympathy, the part of like we're sad. It's all anger now. I mean, there's just nothing else left but anger. And we got into it on the Hot Seat podcast, where you know it's institutionalized within the police department. You know, someone on there made the comment about, you know, the fact that it's, you know, it, you know, one side is playing that it's outside of police, but then now they're black. And I said, you know, growing up, it didn't matter what color that person was that was in uniform. It was just about the uniform in general, because it presents a source of power to them that's over the normal person, or the civilian, if you will. That I wear this, I have this badge, I have this gun, I'm more powerful than you, and I can do all these things, and I'm protected because by law, that's what it says. I can do whatever I want to you. And we've seen that, recorded or not. You know, it was at one point in time we thought, man, just get them on footage. Like we'll be all right. Like we that's all we need is like visual evidence. Well, Rodney King showed that shit didn't even make no never mind to that.
Right.
So, but like I said, in a sense, I didn't want to watch it. I think I'm not desensitized by it. I'm over watching us die at the hands, period, of anybody, whether it's, you know, us against us or just us dying in general. I think it was, you know, it just gets to a point where I don't even want to see it. I think the damage is done. My eyes have seen what I've seen, and you know, my heart reflects that, as well as my anger. That that's all there's left now is just anger. I don't feel no type of way.
Right. CB.
There was a great discussion about this on the Hot Seat podcast, so definitely shout out to those guys. It's tough. I wasn't able to get through the video. It's pretty long, and you know, that's a tough watch. So, similar to E, it's, you know, my feelings on it are, you know, it's not of being desensitized or anything like that. It definitely still hits just as hard every single time, but it's just that reaction of, oh, again, like damn. And in this instance, it really feels like this young man was let down on so many different levels. Like it's
He got
it's
pulled over for reckless driving, and it led to him being killed.
yeah, and I mean, to be beaten to the point where you're unrecognizable for a traffic stop, bro. Like it, this one hurts, man. There's already enough going on in the world, and this is one of the ways that we're starting the year off. January 7th, like 1 week into the new year, and this is, you know, this is how we're ringing it in. So, um, it's tough. You know, what are all the thoughts and prayers going to be doing at this point? You know what I mean?
Right. And this is a good point right here. Yo, Chuck Claggett says, if you don't watch the actual beating, that's fine. The worst part is the police officer trying to cover their asses, which was worse, the crime or the cover up, right? Classic case here, because there's language is being used to already put things in place for when the video runs back or they watch the footage. It can be, you know, it's justified, you know, because one of them did say, did you see him grab for my gun? You know, so already things are being put in place because they know that wrong was done here, right? Yeah, and I just think that again, this seems to happen often, and I think I mentioned it on the hot seat, is that this isn't the last time. You know, we all know that this will happen again. It's just a matter of like when, right? So, you know, this is the times we're living in. And it's tough. And do you think that the officers charges were brought immediately because of their skin tone? Because if you notice, we had the footage for George Floyd, and it took forever for them to actually charge Chauvin. and other guys.
It definitely doesn't look good. And we can run the tape back. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but when that lady cop got charged real quick, and it was like, oh, they finally charged a cop, and it's like, yeah, but it doesn't hit quite the same because it's like it's a woman. You know what I mean? Like, we know that the institutional part of all of this in a lot of cases is coming down to white males, you know what I mean? So it definitely, I can't definitively say that that is like that, was a main reason or anything, but it certainly doesn't look good. Optically doesn't look good.
Yep.
That's where it's at right now. So it's about the optics as well because it plays a part in this. We talked about this again. We bring up because we were on the Hot Seat podcast, but we talked about the optics as well of how the police chief or whatever her title is to sit there and say, "I've never seen anything like this." Well, yes, we have. That's optics. Those are words that mean something that shows that you're still removed from what's actually happening. And the fact that you can't see further than your uniform and your badge lets us know based upon what they say. And that's exactly what it is, right? It's the optics. See, you hit it right on the head. Like we seen it, and then the cover up, and then she gets on TV as if like it's a heartful one-on-one press conference of I want you to feel what the family felt. Bro, we've been feeling what the family's been feeling because it's happening to us. It's not new. So the optics of you then almost, I think somebody said the shit was like promoed like it was a new video, a hot rap video that was coming out that's dropping the next day. Like,
right.
Why are we doing this?
Yep. But look, thoughts and prayers to the family. I mean, we're tired of saying that. That's what we are now, and hopefully, it's swift justice. I know there's more charges to be brought, but let's just.
Hey, what's Fat Boy's name? The sports announcer.
Oh, Whitlock. Like that, man. I know what you're gonna say, but yeah, he his comments were kind of just crazy too. All right, let's lighten this up a little bit. So, some of the big news this week.
Lighten it up.
Let's lighten up a little bit. Just a little bit. So an article was released. Was that Complex CB? I couldn't remember what original.
There were a few different.
There was a few, right?
Yeah, there was a few of them.
So, but a lot of people who haven't known. Well, everyone knows what Kanye West has been up to in America for the past. Let's just give it a year, or we'll take it 6 months. We know the language and the type of rhetoric and the energy he's been giving off for the past 6 months. Well, this has been the final straw for Pusha T, who had the album of the year. I think me and CB's books last year. It's almost dry. Check it out if you haven't heard it yet. But Pusha T is no longer the president of Good Music, and he is no longer affiliated with Kanye West at all. They're not even speaking. And I just think that it's about time, right? I think Push put up with a lot through the MAGA years, and obviously through the Drake beef. I think the Drake beef hurt more than the MAGA years, because the MAGA years was just Kanye doing whatever Kanye wants to do, right? I think the Drake beef was the issue because it was like Kanye had to choose sides, and he kind of chose Drake. He let Drake perform at the show, the Donda show. Didn't let Push perform there. So, and everybody knows the beef between Push and Drake has been going on for a few years, quite a few. And I think it stems all the way back to Wayne. I mean, it's all connected, right? So, but yeah, Push out of Good Music. I don't even know who Good Music has at this point still on their roster. Depending on, I guess, distribution deals. Common could be still, as far as music-wise under there. But Tiana Taylor, perhaps. But I don't know who's left under the Good Music label, and if I mean at this point, if it's still even worth mentioning Good Music, because at this point I think Ye is done in the public eye. I mean, he's probably still gonna put out music, but I think that no matter what he does, is nobody cares at this point. Thoughts? Let's start with you, CB.
Well, it will be interesting to see if Push ends up having to, give an award speech or something, and you potentially have to, thank people that helped get you there. That would be interesting. Just throwing that out there. But I mean, yeah, like you said, it's kind of a long time coming. Um, I know that some people felt very strongly about it. Consequence had quite a bit to say about it. But you know, at the end of the day, I think that Push is doing what's best for him, what he thinks is best for him. And,
Yeah,
you
I don't
know,
have a problem with it at all.
nah, I really don't. And it's, you can, like, you cannot confuse what loyalty actually is with what some people consider loyalty to be. That doesn't mean that you're always just like agreeing with somebody and, just kind of following lockstep. Like, like these guys went through a lot together. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and we know that it's not like we don't necessarily associate Kanye with like Pusha getting his start. That's Pharrell, and
Absolutely.
the Neptunes and everything. But Ye and Push went through a lot together, and I can't imagine that this kind of decision would have come lightly to Push, given what
Right. He dealt with as much as he could, I think.
right.
To quote the I call him the God MC. But Busta Rhymes said it the best. Loyalty should be a blessing, not a burden. And I think that Kanye placed that on everybody in good music, right? It's that moment of like we're having to talk about our label mate or whoever more than we're talking about our music, right? We're getting shine about the wrong stuff and not the actual stuff that's going on. The decline of it all is really the sad part from, like the, Big Sean and how he, dissed him on Drink Champs and Sean's just like, how? You know what I mean? Like he was just and I think it's like first of all, everybody on here is solid. And there's nobody on here that's going to stand up for somebody who's not solid, who would put us in a position to be like, somebody can say, "Oh, I seen you rocking with so and so," and I ain't with it. Like I ain't running with that type of crowd. I feel like Pusha was in that mode. He was like, "How am I even presenting the type of work that I present, and I'm hanging around, or I'm supposed to be affiliated with the same guy that does the things that I pretty much say is on some real lame shit." That's what it was. Like, I mean, let's just be honest. Like, listening to Push's lyrics is kind of sound like he might be talking about Kanye a lot if you go back into it as far as the foolery that he does.
Right. I think that this doesn't hurt Push's career at all. I think if anything, it just takes him to another level anyway, because I don't think he ever needed Ye. And I think the only one right now that's kind of backing Ye is Consequence, probably because he needs Ye.
And Consequence has been there for a long time,
He's been
if
around for a
not
while.
from the beginning. So, he's got some skin in the game, I figure, when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, Push wasn't there from the beginning. So there could be something there,
Right. Right. But we'll see where this takes us. All right. Moving right along. So it's set in stone. The two number one teams in the NFL are going to do battle in a week and a couple of days. You've got the Eagles versus the Chiefs, who are back at it. First time you have two black quarterbacks going against each other in the Super Bowl. It's a big step right there. I would tell the NFL to get used to it because quarterback position seems to be trending that way. So get used to it. Rihanna's going to do the halftime show, which should be pretty good, entertaining. But
shout out to ASAP Rocky.
Yeah, shout out to ASAP.
First shout out to ASAP Rocky of the year. Let's go.
This is also being labeled the Andy Reid Bowl because Andy was the coach for the Eagles for years. He actually took them to a Super Bowl. And this is also his current team. This is their third Super Bowl. That's why they lost. Third Super Bowl. Yeah, and this is also the Brothers Kelsey Bowl, which truly the only person that cannot lose in this Super Bowl is Mama Kelsey. She's got a son on each team. One of them who is the greatest tight end of all time. He's going straight into Canton. He's got the stats to prove he's the greatest of all time. He passed Shannon Sharp. I think Shannon Sharp had all the stats prior to, from what I believe, and then Kelsey just recently passed him. So, and Shannon's giving it to him as far as the greatest tight end ever played the game. So, yeah, I'm thoroughly entertained. Hopefully, this game will be better than the Eagles-Niners game. That was some shit. So, let's get some predictions in. Let's do a little. Let's go here. Let's get some predictions, thoughts. Who takes this score? E, go for it.
Well, I'll start off just well, there's no way I can root for the Kansas City Chiefs
because they wear red.
No, if anything, I would root for them because they wear red. Actually, just to go ahead and further just dig that hole. But no, because I'm a Raiders fan, and I refuse to root for a rival, regardless of the fact they are in the Super Bowl. I'm that type of fan.
Damn. Okay.
Pretty much. But I got hopefully a good game to watch, period. Philly. I got Philly 28-17.
Interesting.
I'm scared. And the reason why I'm scared is because this has been arguably the worst playoffs that I can ever remember in terms of the quality of each game. Like, usually the games get better, right, as the playoffs go on. Wild Card Weekend was the most exciting weekend. Like, all these other games have sucked. Like,
Facts.
And we have theoretically two explosive offenses. When we've had some of those lineups in other recent years, those games have kind of sucked too. So I'm concerned. I'm worried, but I'm hopeful because a lot of these dudes have helped me win a lot of fantasy football money. So I'm rooting for, more the players than anything else. It's one of those things, like E-Rich said, division rival is in the game. And for some reason, Kaleo can attest to this, our 9 to 5, like, for some reason, like, half the company's from Philly. Like, it doesn't even make sense. So for whatever reason, we have to contend with more Eagles fans than I think the average DMVer has to. But, it is what it is. I really am a fan of Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Like, I'm really a fan of those guys. I think Mahomes is on the trajectory to be the GOAT. If him and Andy Reid are able to stick it out, I think that can happen. So, I'm going with the Chiefs. That's
now. Okay.
Did he freeze? You got a score prediction, no?
I'm gonna go 24-17 Kansas City. But I want it to be like 49-42. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want.
For the last team that probably has the ball.
Yeah,
probably
but
wins
like
the
I
game.
said, I'm concerned. I'm just concerned that it's going to end up being a dud. But I'm hoping that Patty and Jalen can pull through for us.
Right. I'm thinking. I think it's gonna be close, but I think since the Eagles have the number one defense, it's gonna be tough, right?
Just
If the
know,
Chiefs don't
just
get
know they
if the
lost to a
Chiefs don't
team.
get
They lost to a team
oh
that
well yeah well that
they're
game right.
really. It's embarrassing. If you lost to them this year, that really is embarrassing. So
You're talking the
you know it,
Commanders
it's not.
game.
Oh, I mean, you didn't have to mention them by name.
Oh,
But yeah, so there are chinks in the armor, and it's not like you know, eh, who knows what that game last week would have been, but they look like they could do it.
yeah. I'm thinking only way the Chiefs win this game is if they get at least one or two of the receivers that are hurt back, because if you take away Kelsey, right, and then you take away the run game, that is going to leave. I mean, we know Mahomes can possibly do it, but I think he's going to need weapons against a really good defense.
I mean, I'd love to get E's opinion on this, but like Patty got him here with the makeshift band of receivers that they already
Right.
had. So,
But you've got Juju's hurt, Nico Harmon's hurt. I think Valdez is probably the only one that's
I mean, he turned Eli
somebody that he
Apple
turned up,
all the
but
way around. That was
so
hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like I think that's the point. If he has he's got him there with the makeshift, which is a la Tom Brady, if you will, right? Doesn't have like a crazy wide receiver core. The problem, I think, is the Chiefs' defense. That's what's going to let them down, and because
and
you
they just
have,
lost their one of their was it linebacker or the corner?
I think it was a corner that went down.
Last week,
Yeah, he 38. He pretty much just took himself out the game trying to tackle with his helmet. But anyway, the thing with that, like you said, it's their corners have to stop two amazing wide receivers that are and listen, Devontae Smith could be a number one on anybody else's team. So you have 2-1s, and you still have a good run, a decent. I mean, shit, they got 3 running backs that are decent. You know what I mean? So it's a constant. I think the Chiefs just have the only way they can stay in the game is their defense. Their defense has to play.
Their D line looked okay last week. Granted,
Yeah.
not the same quality possibly as Philly's, but if their D line looks like they did last week, I think they can do what you're talking about.
But I think O line, Philly's O line is better than what
Buffalo had, or
Buffalo.
then Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
I mean, Cincinnati's O line was trash. Like we know that, but it at least gives me hope.
Yeah. But like you said, just a good game. Cleo, you got to call the score though, since you said who.
I'm gonna go 28-24.
Philly.
Chiefs.
Yeah. I'll play the.
I'm another one that's not going to give Jalen Hurts his credit.
I mean, we do have 2 NFC Easters out of the 3.
Yeah. I mean, I like Mahomes' third appearance. He needs. I don't think he really needs any more rings to prove how great he is, but it doesn't hurt.
Real quick,
it doesn't
I
hurt.
didn't know.
At this point, he's a Hall of Famer, right?
I didn't know who Pat Mahomes' dad was until this
really?
past weekend. And
that was funny.
The Mahomes family, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. That shit is hilarious. Like,
right? I mean,
that's awesome.
At this point, he doesn't matter. I mean, he's already in the Hall of Fame. Does it matter if he wins any more rings?
Okay, so
obviously you will want to, right? But
you can't be considered the GOAT.
Yeah, no,
I'm not even talking about GOAT anymore. I'm just talking about matter of winning rings. Yes, we all want to win more rings, but if he doesn't win any more rings, he's already a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer for sure, but that's also Dan Marino is a Hall of Famer with no rings. You know what I mean? Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl, and he's definitely not going into the Hall of Fame ever.
He didn't win
You know what I'm saying?
He didn't win it. He just stood behind the center. The defense.
It don't matter. It's on his resume. But I hear what you're saying, and I think that's for another day to have that conversation of stats. But he's definitely going to the Hall of Fame for sure.
Absolutely. Okay. Just keeping it light. Let's do something else. So, see, we've been away for a while, so there's a couple things I wanted to touch on that we didn't get to really comment on as it happened. Now, for those who don't know who that is, at the bottom of that, he was mentioned a couple minutes ago. That is Shannon Sharp, Shay himself, Mr. Undisputed. Now, Shannon has been one of those people who you never really saw him at games, right? He used to say he was a loner or whatever, but we know how he's the LeBron jocker on this show, and Skip is the Jordan jocker, right? But Shannon and LeBron are super close, so Shannon's been showing up at these Laker games, just hanging out, and he showed up at one a couple weeks ago, Lakers Grizzlies, and I was watching the game. I think I put this in our chat. I'm watching the game. I fell asleep. I woke up at like 2, 3 a.m. on our end, and I'm seeing just all this stuff about Shannon Sharp trending. And I go, and this dude gets into it at the game with, was it Brooks? That
was one of them.
Yeah, it started with Dylan Brooks. Him and Dylan Brooks were going back and forth, right? He was telling Dylan Brooks he was too small, which I believe that's true. I mean, he was trying to guard LeBron, right?
I'm 5'8". Who the fuck's going to listen to me anyway?
Exactly. Calling Dylan Brooks too small, and I guess Brooks had enough, and he responded with some unkind words to Shannon. And Shannon said he wasn't drunk. He said he was drinking Sprite all night. And the clip all you see is Shannon yelling at Dylan Brooks like, "Come here," like say it in my face, kind of thing, right? And then the next clip you see Shannon and T. Morant going at it, and he's yelling at T. Morant, "I bet you won't. I bet you won't," like with a bunch of guys in between them. I was like, what the hell did he say to him? But whatever he said, I bet he won't. Whatever Shannon's saying, he bet he won't do, I bet he won't do. Right?
That shit took me right back to 1996. Like,
and then you see another clip of kind of Ja getting in the mix, Steven Adams, and clearly, I don't think anybody wanted to smoke with Shannon Sharp because dude is super in shape. And it looked like, I mean, he's probably country strong. He'll beat the hell out of anybody that steps in his way. Like this guy's got oppression. He's got oppression and growing up in tough times still built in his blood. So,
I mean, he's wearing a fucking cardigan, and he's about damn tearing the sleeves off. He's 50 years old. That's messed up.
And he's been shouting out his stylist lately. So everybody's dogging this. I guess it's it was $1,000 whatever cardigan he's wearing. It's a denim cardigan. Who cares? But anyway, so.
If you got it, bro.
My line of questioning here is, lately we've seen NBA players have regular old Joes or anybody sometimes in the front row, because it was that white couple that said whatever they said, and LeBron got them booted out the game. Draymond's had people booted out the game. There's been fans starting to get booted out the game lately because these players are tired of it. Now, Shannon, who incited kind of it wasn't a scuffle. Nobody threw hands. It was just a spectacle, right? He took away from the game. And there was just a moment, right, where it could have been embarrassing to anybody who took offense to it. So, but they took him off court, but they allowed him to come back in. Now, there's probably a couple factors in that. One, this was a Lakers home game. He was there rooting for the Lakers. It wasn't like he was causing chaos towards the Lakers. He was actually rooting for the Lakers. Two, I mean, most people probably know who he is, and then maybe he was out of character, kind of, sort of. That's who he was, but he just wasn't, he was just a little bit out of character then. Let him back. Three is probably because he's money. He's got money, right? That's who he is probably why they let him back in. But your thoughts. What do you guys feel about this? Should he have been let back in the game? Yeah, have at it. Go, CB.
One, I can confirm that was the exact story that happened. You did fall asleep and wake up to the story and text the group. I can confirm that that is what happened. Um, and so I'm going to say, and this is completely 100% biased. This is not coming from a place of fairness and justice. Yeah, he should have been allowed back in the game, and I'm glad he was allowed back in the game. I thought it was great that other examples have not been allowed back in the game. To me, that's incredible. I love that. But Shannon, yeah, he apologized. I
Yeah,
think
he
that
did
it
apologize.
wasn't coming from, a place like a bad place. Honestly, like we're talking about one of the greatest at his particular sport of all time, right? This is a competitive individual. He's in a competitive environment, and it's ratcheted up even more because he's that much closer to the court. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. Like, so um it was unfortunate, and you don't want to see anybody in the stands taken away from what's going on the field or on the court. But if it wasn't him, I don't think that it would have ended up being as big of a deal as it ended up being. To me, it's way funnier than that Uber Eats kid ended up on the court
Oh,
at that basketball
that was
game.
funny.
To me,
That was
that was
funny.
funnier than this. But um, I'm glad they let him back in the game, and ultimately it was all love anyways. Like, him and T,
Oh yeah,
there was no
absolutely.
beef. So at the end of the day, no one got hurt, and if anything, free advertising for the NBA.
Right.
They love that.
Before you go, E, let me add a couple things, elements to the story that I missed. Yeah, him and T didn't make up at the end of the game. Uh, Also, if people know Shannon Sharp, he is famous for shit talking. This was trash talking at its best, and he was
One of the
known to get
greatest of all time.
under people's skin. There's one famous clip of Shannon Sharp. I can't remember who they were beating. He picked up the phone and said, "Call the National Guard. Don't worry, help is on the way." Like, that is a famous clip of his. He knows to get under people's skin, and then this trash talking at its best. Uh, our community knew it wasn't going any further than that. It was just words. Nobody was going to be harmed. Nobody was going to have to worry about walking out the building by themselves. No, trash talking at its best. Boom. Go ahead, E.
So I'll sum it up for you. Somebody invited the light skinned kid to the barbecue that nobody knew. He was trying to show that he can play ball. He really was getting dogged, and therefore his best friend had to take up for him. I'm sorry, his best friend, the biggest guy on the court, Steven Adams, right? Because he's the team player.
Yeah.
He's the enforcer because that's his teammate. I think it was just blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have been kicked out. I think it was in the spirit of sports as far as trash talking, because we've all been there. You trash talk when you definitely in that, and if you in that zone, anybody can get it, and you almost sometimes kind of look for somebody to get you started. If it's that type of game, and
right.
There's no problem because not to go in, but go back. I think it was like beginning of the NBA. John Morant was going back and forth with a fan that was on the baseline. The ref thought that was more than what it was. John Morant was like, why are you throwing me out there? We're fine. We're having a banter as far as the game is concerned. Nothing has gone over to your mama or I'm gonna see you outside. And I think that's the same thing that was with. Now we all say this: Dylan Brooks is a punk. We all realize what he did in the playoffs last year to GP2, right?
Oh,
That
that's
was
right.
not a
That was him. I forgot all
that's not
about
a basketball play. So I had to explain to my dudes. I said he's that one guy that is always going to want to get beat up because he's the one that starts fights. So he just couldn't handle that Shannon was letting him know how trash he was trying to guard LeBron that game. And it just happens. It happens. We've all been a part of teams where we've either had a player on our team shit on another player, and we constantly let that other player know you were being dogged every time.
That's how you
every
get
time.
people's head.
Or there's a player on our team that's getting dogged, and we're letting them know even still, you gonna let this dude dog you all game? I'm about to come over and guard him. So just stop this. But that's all it was. It's fine. You know, it was good entertainment. It's LA. But I think they handled it right, because I think if it would have been blown out of proportion, what you don't want is then celebrities to feel like as soon as I say something to these athletes, I'm going to be booted from the game because they don't like the fact that, you know, a la Chris Paul, 3 points, 1 out of 6 shooting, and I'm calling him trash. I'm definitely like, I paid money, and this is what you put up? Really? Right. Trash, garbage.
So,
Pat Bev said, you know, I destroyed him.
Kaleo, off the Chris Paul comment, can you in post-production, can you put like some peanuts right here? You know? Can you do that in post-production?
I got you. So to bring this home, like E said, like there's levels amount of trash talk, you know, and it's meant, that's why you talk trash. Get on a person's skin, get in their head, make their game worse. Dylan Brooks responded to Shannon with a "fuck you," which is what, you know, that would trigger anybody. That's kind of that.
Shannon wasn't using that language, right? You know what I mean? Like,
that's how you know Dylan was hurt, right? But then in Dylan's post remarks, he was saying, he's a blogger, like, you know, he tried to discredit who Shannon Sharp was. Everybody's like, yeah, no, we're not buying it. We know who Shannon Sharp is. But to my point right here, like, trash talking has been, like he said, trash talking has been a part of sports forever. This wasn't even the biggest one. If people remember how Knicks Pacers series went, Spike Lee and Reggie Miller back in the day, basketball was a different game. And
dude,
Spike Lee and Reggie Miller.
I fell in love watching the Miami Heat versus the New York Knicks, those Pat Riley versus Van Gundy matchups in the 90s, where everyone was just battling to be second behind the Bulls. That shit was cool. You know what I mean?
That era right there, different. So, you know, speaking of different, DC shop different. Boom, there you go. Look, I talked to Grant tonight. Look, so let me let you fellas know. I talked to Grant tonight. Grant will be on the show next week for Black Business Series. Grant is the owner of DC Shop Pod, the official pizza of the We Are Something Else podcast. WRC10. Use our code, save 10%. And look, by the way, look. They have Uber Eats and they have Grubhub. So if you're within the vicinity of the DC Shop Pod and you want something delivered, hit them up on their website. They deliver, or you can go pick it up yourself. Look, it's been a while. Some people may have forgot what this Chicago deep dish pizza looks like. I haven't. I need to probably go get me one. But they got the steak and cheese.
Came off keto, switched to low carb, so he could have a slice of DC shop pie every other week.
Exactly. Shop pie got you breaking your diets out here. They got the salmon pesto. I mean, look, you can't go wrong with DC shop pie. So,
you got the desserts?
Do I have the dessert? Oh, yeah, right here. Boom. So you got, also, look, they got the flats, the gyro, which is the Georgetown, and then the big chair, which is the fried chicken and mambo sauce pizza. But then they drop the bomb bread pudding right there. So, again, I talked to Grant tonight. He'll be on the show next week. A lot of updates with the DC Shop Pod. You guys are going to love hear what he's got to say. So, next week. And Grant's also an Eagles fan, so I'm sure he's going to talk some trash about that.
This is the perfect time to have Grant back on, man, with the Eagles being in the Super Bowl. Exactly. I can't wait.
You know what it's not the perfect time for? Take that one down. Real quickly, I'm going to apologize to you. When I was uploading my graphics, I had realized both of your graphics didn't show up. Oh, by the way, this isn't just C. Both your graphics didn't show up. So while we were doing the show, I makeshifted you just the graphic so you can have your moment. So go ahead and start your intro, and I'm going to cue up your graphic. Whenever you're ready to talk about it, go ahead.
Real quick, happy new podcast year, everybody that's joining in for the Is It Just E segment. While we were talking about that good old DC Shy Pie, in true fashion, Dylan, I'm so sorry, Brooks was involved in a brawl in the Cavalier game with Donovan Mitchell.
Are you serious?
Yes, massive brawl in the NBA. That's how they labeled it. He was tackled by a coach. I haven't seen the footage, but more we'll tap into that next week. But again, the one kid that always gets asked to play because we need 10 to play a full game in a full court, Dylan Brooks is trash. Anyway,
that was Eric Tomlinson too back in the day.
Oh damn it. They're not privy to the group chat. They don't know what's going
on. In the spirit of the Super Bowl, and we're going to kind of phase out of football here. I posed this question to myself, and I just realized that because, we have a group chat, and somehow it always gets brought up about a certain team, and they have a title that I feel should be stripped from them. Which, as you can see, Kaleo's face is definitely not for it. He feels some type of way. So for this, I think that this truly needs to have a discord. And it's, as of right now, who is the better quarterback for Dallas? Was it Dak? Is it Dak Prescott or was it Tony Romo? Like, I understand that there's still some years to go before he equals up the amount of time that Romo was there. But looking at what Dak has as a full arsenal of you can't deny the defense. Can't necessarily deny that his offense is really trash when you have clearly a 1 and 2 running back this year. Like when Zeke was on, he was that guy. You got Pollard now, and it's a 1-2 combination like we typically see a winning organization come across every so often. You have a CeeDee Lamb who's clearly a good. He's a number one, but he's still working to be that number one. He unfortunately has to live up to a certain stature playing in Dallas, being the number one receiver after all the
he's wearing 88 for a reason.
He is wearing, yes, he is. And Michael Irvin said it. You wear this number, great responsibility comes with that. They've had their ups and downs. They've had, injuries, but I'll pose you this still to this day, right? If you look at Dak's this previous season and how many interceptions he threw, and I say that because of my team getting rid of Derek Carr because of all the interceptions that he's threw and hasn't had nowhere near. Just this year and maybe one other year, we had the offensive presence to really do something, but our defense has always lacked. We've never been in a top anything in defense. I truly believe that if you put them side by side, even if you just cut off from the time that Romo's played like to now to Dak, where they're equal up the years, I really think that it's still sliding to Romo was the better quarterback for Dallas than Dak is. And I say that even with Romo, like their careers and minus the playoffs and all that shit, nobody's winning Super Bowls. What I'm saying is true, straight up right now, is it just E? But is Tony Romo's career at this point where Dak is, he was still a better quarterback than Dak currently is?
I guess.
Yeah, the resident.
I was about to say you weren't gonna make it.
All right. Let me.
Yeah, I got the stats here. So whatever you gonna write off.
Because yeah. Okay. So let me. Your first point. America's team. I feel one of the reasons why they're America's team is because they sell tons and tons of merchandise annually, right? Off season, during season, their merchandise goes through the roof. And they are very successful at making money, right? They're probably one of the most valued, if not the most valued franchise in the NFL. And Jerry has labeled them America's team just based off of that revenue, TV time. Like they probably have the most TV time. They always have a Sunday night game.
Unquestioned.
Huh?
It's unquestioned. They have the most TV time.
Facts.
Monday night games, Sunday night games.
When they had John Kitna lining up under center, they were getting prime time games.
Exactly. So
Troy Aikman was making my ears bleed the entire time.
America's team is totally based off of that, right? Because other than that, they're one of the most irrelevant teams outside of winning, right? That revenue makes them America's team. Spotlight makes them America's team. Winning makes them irrelevant. It's been 25 plus years since they won a Super Bowl, right? So obviously they're doing something wrong, because if things haven't changed in 25 years, something is wrong here. So yeah, they're only America's team by revenue. So I'm gonna give you that, right? Because no matter what, they are complacent on finishing where they finish every year. Jerry is, at least, because it doesn't matter. It's not gonna hurt his pockets the next year, right? Okay, 1-2 combo. Yeah, no, that's like having a spare and a regular tire on your front car, your front of your car. That's not a really good 1-2 combo. The last 1-2 combo I saw was Thunder and Lightning for the Giants. Was that Ron Dane and somebody else, right?
Bro, Ron Dane and Tiki Bar.
That was an effective 1-2 combo.
Ron Dane thought he was the Lightning.
This 1-2 combo again. It's a spare tire. It's a donut and a regular tire. Okay.
So I'm assuming you're saying Zeke is a spare tire now.
Yeah. He's a shell of himself. I'm getting to your quarterback point, but I'm touching everything you talked about. Wrong person was fired for sure. You didn't talk about coaching. You didn't talk about anything, but this goes into part of my argument. Wrong person was fired, because let me show you how wrong of a person it was that was fired, because he was hired less than 24 hours later by another team, Kellen Moore. Right? People wanted to blame that on Kellen Moore, but all Kellen Moore did was put up points and tie the Kansas City Chiefs, who was the highest scoring offense in the league for 2 years. So not his problem, right? But coordinators always go first before the coach. So that's probably next, maybe, because you're not going to fire the GM. You want to know why you're not going to fire the GM? Because it's the fucking owner.
Because it's the owner.
You're not going to fire that, right? So McCarthy.
I wouldn't trust Jerry behind the wheel of a car. That's all I'm saying.
McCarthy's next. Now,
he just got named he's calling the plays next year as well.
McCarthy, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, because it was Kellen Moore,
Jerry
but I'm going to oversee him. But yeah, no, this is all McCarthy. This is all McCarthy here. And we're going to see what happens. This is all on him now. Mike has any better ideas than what Kellen Moore is on. Kellen is just... Uh-oh. Am I back? Can you hear me? Can you
there?
You hear me? Yeah, I'm here.
There you are. There you are.
Okay. All right. So let's get to your point of Romo and Dak Prescott. And I'm going to tell you why. It doesn't matter. They're both the same quarterback. They can't win a big game. Tony only had one playoff win. Dak has just now 2. They're the same fucking... If they're not Troy Aikman, it doesn't fucking matter. They are the same quarterback.
It's crazy.
They are the exact same quarterback. Even if Dez would have caught the ball, that's 2 playoff wins. That's 2.
By the way,
the only difference between them two.
But anyway,
what'd you say?
I said I'm still calling that a catch in my.
I mean, I said if it was deemed a catch against Mike McCarthy, that was the year that the damn Packers went and won a Super Bowl, I believe.
It was.
Yo, I love saying that shit to Cowboys fans. Like,
but that's
Like,
just still.
because I'm a Commanders fan, so that, like, and you hear that sounded terrible coming out of my mouth. Like, what? What is this team name? That's a completely different story. But the fact that uh, me and my brother we were picking up groceries one day, and there was a dude with a Cowboys jacket on in front of us, and so we started bantering back and forth while we were waiting to check out, and he said something, and me and my brother my brother signed off by saying, "Oh, we gotta go. Des didn't catch the ball." We turned around, and this dude got so flustered. It was so funny.
You
Like,
can't come back from that. I mean,
nah,
what are you gonna say?
Go
Go ahead, CB.
I think, this is a great question. And the thing is as a Washington football fan, I actually have been a Dak supporter from the jump. Like, I followed him in college. Like, he was very good in college. And when he ended up getting drafted, I think later than a lot of people thought he was going to, and to get drafted in Dallas, where they had an established quarterback already, I thought that the expectations for him are set so much higher because of just honestly the fact that he plays for Dallas for no better reason. No.
And now the money makes it even
And
higher.
so he goes out and he has a devastating injury. Like, devastating injury. And Dallas actually came out and was like, "Nah, man, we're actually going to show that we support you, and we're going to give you this bag." So now you have, and this is a situation where we're talking about, this guy was not a first round pick. This was not a second round pick. This was not a third round pick. Like, this was a latter half of the draft pick. Ended up working his way up to getting the bag, for being the starting quarterback. They're going to make you the franchise, going to build around you. There's a lot of expectation. And Romo was undrafted, right? So it's funny how Dallas, like, because Troy was a first round pick, but other than that, like, they like I said, I'm a Washington fan. This shit grinds my gears. Like, what the fuck? Let us find a quarterback, please, please. I'll take. All I'm saying, I think Kaleo is like, it's kind of a cop out to say they're the same, for no better reason than I like him better. Dak is my guy, so that's where I land on this side of the fence. No offense to Romo. I don't know what he was trying to say the other weekend. I don't know what that word was supposed to be.
Oh boy, part. That part.
That is a joke. I actually don't think it is what people are trying to make it out to be, but that's very funny to me, because haha, Tony Romo.
Now,
but yeah, for me it's Dak. Dak's my guy. But if Dallas wants to get rid of him, he'd be the best quarterback in Washington that we've had since at least one season in 2012.
If I gotta pick one, I'm gonna pick Dak. Because, like Wesley Snipes said, Pastor 57, always bet on black. All right. For those of you who just joined us for the first time, this is where we talk about our passion, sneakers. And we lead off with the Soul Swap, which is a little bit of sneaker news. We'll debate, talk about whatever. So, CB, what we got for the Soul Swap?
So, like Kaleo was teeing us up, Soul Swap is our segment where we talk about some news that's going on in the sneaker realm that we think that all the homies that tune into the show on a regular basis need to hear about. So if you have not been paying attention, Nike in the news for lawsuits, not against them. They are suing the shit out of other people. And it's one of those things where this has become a trend recently. We can remember the Warren Lotus dunks recently. Nike went after him for those. But the big story, the reason why we're bringing this up is because within basically the last week, we've heard about lawsuits being brought against Bape and against Lululemon. And, it's copyright infringement. Bape has had the Bape stars for 20 years. Nike did go after them years ago because if you guys have never seen these shoes before, they're basically a carbon copy of the Air Force One. Like that, it is what it is. And
but hundreds of dollars more.
It's Bape. It's Bape. It's not a check. It's a star. Whatever you like. Yeah, and it's one of those things where you have a brand as big as Nike, and some of like Bape has obviously grown over the decades at this point to become what they are, and you've got Lululemon, which I'm sure if you've got any friends that are females, they might have a pair of Lululemon leggings in the closet somewhere. You know what I mean? Like it's a major athletic brand, and Nike's like, hey, we got these patents, and you guys are infringing on our copyrights. So, this is what it is. And so I want my question to y'all is, how do you feel about these lawsuits? Do you think that these companies are infringing? And ultimately, at the end of the day, like for Bape specifically, do you think the fact that this is basically coming to light 20 years later is like the move or not? Like, how do y'all feel?
Yeah, I don't know what's motivating Nike these days just to sue everybody. I've never had a pair of Lululemons in hand, even though they do have a guys line. But or actually seen to know. I mean, at this point, compression is compression, right? Who's to know what the difference in? I can tell you who can tell you the difference is Under Armour, who actually started the line of that stuff, right? So infringing, I don't know about that. But when it comes to the shoes, I really think it's about this how they look, right? Leave Bape alone at this point because everybody likes Bape for the most part. You know who you can leave you sue is those like secondhand people who take the Jordan 1 patent, right? That part and make these ugly ass like second rate shoes. Sue their ass, get them off the market because those are horrible to look at. Everybody likes Bape. Pharrell wears Bape. Nigo wore Bape. Wale rapped about Bape.
I mean, isn't Nigo's like, is he not part of Bape?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, it was a culture phenomenon. Bape was a movement. So leave Bape alone. But yeah, these other second-rate places, yeah, get them off the market. Go ahead, E.
It's strategic.
Brand, what's good?
It's got to be strategic. Nike's not going to move unless there's a reason, and if it took 20 years, that just means that whoever was behind that project no longer worked for the company, and then somebody got the position, was like, oh shit, we were supposed to run this lawsuit.
Someone was comparing it to a RICO case, building a RICO case.
Yeah, I mean, it's laughable, but we've seen it where Nike's typically the one getting sued, so it's almost like they're trying to turn it around. It's a flex. Any big corporation that's going to be like, watch what we do to something that you guys actually care about and see how, but like you said, it was like a smaller dude. One dude got him to the point where he's like, I have to stop doing this, but now they want to collab with me. So it's like, we get money anyway. You know what I mean? And that's what's going to happen here. But, not unfortunate, but unfortunate. I believe that a certain law firm that probably somebody on here works for is probably actually taking the case. So hey, works for works for us in the long run.
Right. Before we hit the copper drop, I want to talk about something real quick. It's all sneaker related, right? So there's a product out here that CB turned me on to, and I finally I copped them. I purchased it, and I wanted to wear. I wore them today for the first time. So everybody hates when they wear their Jordan ones or their Air Force ones. Perfect time to talk about this, or any type of leather shoe that may crease, right? Or I've seen people propose when they have to take their shoes off so their shoes won't crease, right? But CB turned me on to these things called Crease Beasts, right? It's got the little parental advisory sticker on there. I was wondering why the hell it had a parental advisory sticker on
You
there.
found out.
But I found out really quick why. But yeah, this box open. So yeah, Crease Beasts, like everybody has probably had a crease protector if you're a sneakerhead. And I wish I knew where mine was, but there's a hard plastic shape of like there you go, right there. The inside of a shoe. Which
On deck. That's fucked up.
Which for like almost a year I didn't realize you're supposed to cut them in shape. So I wore these things in my Jordans, and my feet were like fucking uncomfortable, like cutting the inside of my foot and all that. It's like, how can anybody wear this? But I need to wear these because I don't want my J's to bend. But anyways, these Crease Beasts, they're like memory foam, right? They adjust to your foot, and you put them inside of a sock, or like kind of a toe sock. And look, these things, amazing. If you probably can't even see why they come with a parental advisory sticker. There you go.
It's upside down.
Oh shit!
That's
whatever.
You actually could have seen it. Yeah.
There you go. But look, yeah, these things were like $30. But yeah, look, shout out to Crease Beast. For all sneakerheads who don't want to bend their leather, make sure you cop a pair of those. All right, CB, what we got for that copper drop?
Yeah, so these are dropping on Saturday, and generally collabs end up being kind of a big deal. But they've been hit or miss actually over the last couple of years. So for this session, this copper drop, we're going to be talking about the AJKO One Low Union collab that Jordan is doing. They've got removable swooshes, which is pretty cool, but it always is a topic of conversation amongst sneakerheads when it comes to the Jordan 1 in general, whether it is only the one high and that is all that is allowed, whether you fancy the lows, whether you enjoy another one, or if you're down with a version like the AJKOs or the comforts. There's all these different variations, right? So it's not like this is a traditional Jordan 1 low, but it's the AJKO version. They're $150. Sneakers drop 10 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. It's a union collab. Y'all know that I am generally a fan of the collabs that go out, and Union put out one of my favorite shoes of the year last year with their dunks that they did. But for me, they're a drop for now. They're not a must-have by any means. I do think that it's a decent collaboration, and the removable swooshes are a cool touch. But I think I've told you guys this year is about quality over quantity. The idea is I'm passing on stuff like this personally to save up for some other stuff. So that's just me. How do y'all feel?
These are a drop, and I just got to be, like I said it last year when we run the footage. Union lost steam with that Cortez. This is what it is, and this is not a great follow-up either. I mean, at this point, it was almost like they could have savaged a 3, just to kind of get them back in the good graces of the sneakerheads, or even a crazier shoe, just to say that we did something wild, like a 17 or 18, like put something out there that's not this. This is like you were trying to play it safe because you realized you had to get back on the map. And I'm not shitting an artist. I'm not shitting, on the fact that it's Union. I'm shitting the fact that it's just not a good shoe. It's not a good collab. I wouldn't even, if it was on there for a cheaper price, I still wouldn't pay for it.
Drop. This shit sucks. All right, let's show some sneakers. Who's up first? Go ahead, E. Go ahead. Okay. So people who just new to watching, this is where we show sneakers, and then we're out of here. So,
and please send your submissions to us. If y'all got some heat, to share, come on.
Go to IG, WRSE Podcast on IG. We are something else. You'll get us. So yeah.
Like CB said, actually we not really shared our list for the year, but we kind of have. He's got pretty much any Air Max 1 on his list is probably on my list. Everybody knows that that's what it is here. We'll be reviewing those at the end of the year, probably on our top 5. However, I agree with it. It is quality over quantity, and therefore we're going to start off. Oh, it's the background. Oh, it's because of the color. But if
I can see that box.
Yeah, if you know the box, if you know the paper, it's all looking that way. And then now I think about it, it's not even going to show up because of the color.
Oh yeah, you're gonna need to get a light to push that joint.
Let's see. There it is.
There you go.
There it is.
Wow.
Air Force One.
There it is.
There you go. There it is. Okay, good.
There it is. There it is. That we're starting off the year with quality, not quantity. So here we are, and that's how we're doing it. So I'm starting off big because I know my fellas, my bros on here is definitely charged up. We haven't been here in a while.
Real quick. You know what you need with those, E? Get you some crease beats. We just talked about it. You don't want to crease those expensive shoes, E. Go ahead. Crease beats. Look. Damn it, we're gonna get discounts on this shit, man. Let's go. Go ahead, CB, because you
all right.
Everybody knows on
yeah, I mean, shit. E came out the gate just.
I think we all about to.
Down. So, so we said quality over quantity. This was a recent cop. I've been plotting on this pair since they dropped in 2018. This is arguably, depending on who you are, was the sneaker of 2018. This is all subjective, you know. You can feel however you feel. We've seen this box before. But we have not seen this colorway before. And in my opinion, the OG is the greatest of all time as far as these go. The blue multi Sakai LD waffles.
Wow.
Like I said, plotting on a pair.
Speaking in existence, Shad.
Since 2018.
Yep.
And the fantasy football gods were good to the kid this year. So there are some sneakers coming in. And this was one of them. This was one of them. So, you know, but when it comes to the game, you know, it's generally not about the money. It's about being labeled the champ. But when the money can come with stuff like this,
I thought you had those already. I don't know why I thought you did. But...
Because I have like 6 pairs in different colors, but I don't have these. Yes, but now that I have these, I might not get another pair because I don't need them. You know what I mean? Like, I think these are as dope as I thought they were going to be in person. So yeah, they're already getting major run. So yeah, that's how we're starting the year off. Thank you, Eve.
Exactly. All right. And look, and I'm just going to follow it up right there. I copped most likely my sneaker of the year already. So everything else now was 2, 3, 4, and 5. So everybody knows what it is. We talked about it already. I'm a big fan of his collaborations, his designs. The Sean Witherspoon Orkedo. Again, I don't know about quality over quantity this year because there's a few things on the cheaper end that I've seen that I want because as all sneakerheads, you see a shoe like, damn, I could rock this with that. So, but I did start off right with quality, and the Sean Witherspoon Orkedo is just. We saw this picture, the sneak preview of these kind of hint around last year on social media with Sean having these. You definitely have to spray these because this is all fabric. It is literally all fabric. But yeah, Sean Witherspoon or Keto. You know me, I'm in the colors. Oh, cork inside. It's kind of his signature.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was a must-have. So I'm gonna stick with it. Addy Pring Soul too, by the way. I'm gonna stick with it, saying that these are probably going to be my sneakers of the year. I just got
I'm gonna wanna update in a few months in terms of like the wearability, the comfort, like you know,
Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't
because I know
think
you're
I
gonna be
haven't did
wearing
the
them.
check yet. Absolutely, I don't even think they might have 3M. I haven't done the check yet, but I maybe not.
I mean, it's Sean. He probably does.
Yeah. But look, this was a great welcome back for 2023. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. We thank everybody for watching. Look, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Next week, we already mentioned it. Grant Thompson of DC Shop Pod will be here for Black Business Series. And I think that pretty much sums up tonight, fellas. Good to be back. We went to an hour and 17 minutes. Close enough. Close enough. But that's it, y'all. Look, we are something else. See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.